What's going on, everybody? Friday night. Booyaka, booyaka. 619, June 19th. Happy Juneteenth for everybody out there. Honestly, let's be totally honest here. How many of you, especially non-black, even knew that Juneteenth existed before maybe a couple of days ago? Yes, the holiday is observed in, I believe, 49 out of the 52 states. We have 52 states of 50. Yeah, I always, you know why? Because I always think of Puerto Rico, but I think it's North Dakota, South Dakota, and Hawaii are the three states that do not observe Juneteenth. I think it should be a national holiday, for real. But, hey, just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Much love to all of you as always. Got a couple of things to get into today. You know, look, right off the bat, you know, when you got Monday show, Wednesday night Don-O-Mite, Don Tony show. Tomorrow I'll be on Patreon, and I believe the starting time is 4 p.m. Eastern because that show is going to be all live call-ins. And I have a big international family on Patreon. So by doing it at 4 o'clock in the UK and some other areas, it's only 10 o'clock. So that's going to be a big show tomorrow as well. Shout out to M Crew, who's tuning in from Miami. Hey, for all of you out there live, let me see in the chat room right now. You don't have to give your real names, but let me know where you're watching from. I'm very curious. Chris Paz, I already saw that guy making the accusation for Velveteen Dream. Yup. Just, look, I will be talking about hashtag speaking out. If anybody follows me on Twitter, at Don Tony D, you know, I made a couple of quick comments on it, but I also warned a lot of people as well. And I really don't want to spend too much time right off the bat about it because, hey, the face that runs the place took on the bro that runs the show. Wait a minute. Didn't we talk about this last Friday? That Matt Riddle, his debut will be challenging AJ Styles in a match? Didn't we talk about that last Friday? And you know what's funny about it? The speaking out, you know, is a big deal. And there's a lot of real stories out there, tragedies. Some people I know personally, some people I don't. There's a lot of fictitious stories going around. There's a lot of accusations being thrown around. Look, I could tell everybody right now, you know, I can make this outrageous claim, and, you know, if it sounds convincing enough, you'll probably believe it. You know, unfortunately, in this day and age where people need to tweet fuck, and my God, take note. And you know, before anything, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, what's going on? Southern Illinois, Cookie Valley. Where is Cookie Valley? Cookie. Where else? Let's see. Death Valley. Oh, very cool. Buffalo, New York. Glasgow, Scotland. Shezzy. Botswana, Forest Hill, London, England, the Bronx, the boogie down Bronx, Los Angeles, Albany, Orange County, New Jersey, Central Texas, Alabama, Arizona, New Hampshire, parts unknown, Ireland, and it goes on and on and on, Montreal, Philly. Love it. I absolutely love it. Listen, tonight's show, right now it's 10:09 Eastern. This is not going to go past midnight. We'll be able to bang this out under 2 hours. Not necessary to go so much longer. You'll dictate as far as where the conversations go. I will tell everybody this. You know, I'll mention briefly about speaking out now. We'll get into SmackDown a little bit, and then we'll probably go right back into talking about speaking out. Now, you know, I should have posted the picture. I'm a little bit pissed off that I wasn't prepared for it, but IWA Mid-South, if you tuned into Wednesday's show, Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite, I read the lists of a lot of promotions returning to wrestling this weekend. IWA Mid-South, I believe, was one of them, and they posted some photos of their event. And very, very cool to see everybody enjoying the show. I will be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised at the lack of masks being worn. I don't care if you're in a state that has almost none. For now, you should make masks mandatory at your events. If somebody wants to go outside, take a break, take the mask off for a little while, smoke a cigarette, go ahead, do an intermission. If you do a 2-hour show, there's nothing wrong with doing an hour show, intermission, everybody gets up, stretches their legs, whatever, and you go back. Especially that the building looked like it was not only indoors, but I didn't see no windows, I didn't see no fans, I didn't see no circulation of air. So as much as I am supportive of things going back to normal, people have to take precautions. Here in New York, as much as I despise Cuomo and de Blasio, they just bang it, instill it, keep pushing it, mask, 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 social distance, mask, mask, social distance. Sure, with protesting, they put their tail between their legs and didn't say a word about it. But for the most part, look, I could be a hypocrite, or I could do the opposite and say, you know what, you didn't fucking push the mask for the protesters, so why the fuck should I listen to you now? Well, the reason why I do it is not because I listen to them, but I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get my mom sick. I don't want to get my dad sick. I'm going on vacation next week. The last thing I want to do is get sick. So if I have to take extra precautions, I will. But IWA, watching some of those photos tonight, little disappointed at the lack of masks, to be honest with you. That's why you see upticks in other areas, because they're not pushing that you should still take precautions. You could do what you want, but you should still take precautions. Now, Matt Riddle makes his SmackDown debut tonight, takes on AJ Styles, as I said before. And look, we're not lying, man. The shows are there. You can watch it. We talked about this last week. I see people, in the podcast and the website land absolutely shocked. Unbelievable that he showed up and faced AJ Styles. And let's also be honest. You see all those quick clickbaiters earlier? They got some splaining to do. What about all those podcasts and websites saying Matt Riddle removed from SmackDown? Even if I did, and I warned everybody tonight that a lot of people could have some explaining to do because they clickbaited all day fucking long. Matt Riddle removed from SmackDown, removed from the preview, not showing up. And the funny thing about it is, the one thing that really made me laugh hysterical about it is just on logistics alone. And this just goes to show you how absolutely brain dead stupid some people are. Some people, you don't understand. And I'm sure a lot of you know this for a fact. You have people that are in their 60s, their 70s, that have worked all their lives, moved around all their lives, even wrestlers, wrestled all their lives. And you get into your 60s and 70s, and at some point, you might just turn around and say, look, it's time for me to rest. And you start staying in bed, and you start relaxing. And the minute you start doing that, they turn almost into vegetables. How many of you out there ever knew someone, a grandparent, an uncle, maybe a parent, that was just active, energetic their entire life, and then the moment they decided to take a break, a permanent break, because they didn't do any of that stuff anymore, they almost turned into vegetables. What you are witnessing right now on social media is a ton of people turning into vegetables. Not necessarily brain-dead life support vegetables, but not using common sense anymore. Or if they're not stupid, that they find it more important to clickbait you, to manipulate you, to write stupid shit, get all those conversations going all day long, and then when it ends up that everything that they said was not true, then it's like, oh, well, let's change the subject. Let's just talk about this and blah, 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 and blame it on somebody else. This is the vegetables. They have traded in. Look, we're in stage 2 in my neck of the woods now as far as, COVID goes. A lot of areas, stage 3, stage 4. You should realize now that we could be in stage 11 of this COVID return to life. And the same usual suspects that you see on social media will be doing the very same thing a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. This is their life. For the last 3-4 months of this COVID, I've worked every single day. There are jobs out there waiting to be taken. You find alternate work. I bagged groceries. I did deliveries. I did taxes. I did extra shows. I find other ways to get money in my doors. Some people out there have just decided I'm going to sit on fucking social media all day long and clickbait and masturbate at all the attention that I could get because it feels good. It feels good to have 20, 30, 100 people showing you love and support. It feels good to claim that you were sexually abused or manipulated or underage by someone a couple of years ago. And, you know, and the person, nobody knows who you are. And then you get 100, 200, 500 people thinking about you, caring about you. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Oh, I want to give you a hug right now. You don't think there's people out there that do that? There are people do it. And here's another thing, too. At Exposed Wrestling, 10,000 people signed up for that channel, like within the last couple of days. And the first thing I looked when I saw that, you know, I wrote this late tonight. You know, I used to live by a phrase, and this is true, when in doubt, throw it out. I used to always, even when I was young, when in doubt, throw it out. Do I need this? When in doubt, throw it out. Now I have replaced that with when in doubt, do your fucking research first or shut the fuck up. This site, when I first saw it, and I see this list being created in 24 hours, 60 fucking names, without checking certain things and doing a little due diligence and basing things on Saul tweets. And yes, there are a lot of guilty people involved, and I will talk about a few of them. I have no notes in front of me. Everything that you are going to watch me say tonight is straight from here and straight from here. It's not straight from reading. You had all these people that spent the last 2 days on this Exposed Wrestling site, on these lists. And the funny thing about it is the most outspoken people doing this are non-victims. Take note. You have people out there, this is a fetish. This is water cooler talk. This is tabloid stuff. This is a fetish. You have people that will mentally cyberbully and put other people down. They support a promotion. They support a wrestler. They support other people that they don't like. You go on a fucking Jericho cruise, feel bad for all, you know, it's going to be a meat sausage fest. People make fun of all of it. I'm just fucking around. How do you think the person on the other side of that feels? But then all of a sudden, something like this comes out, and this is their new calling, you know? And the funny thing is a lot of these people that are doing this, you know nothing about them. They have logos on their page. They have pictures from 20, 30 years ago on their page. They got baby pictures on their page. Because it sounds beautiful in a tweet. Because it's typed perfectly. My God, when I was a kid, reading the pro wrestling magazines for pen pals. I brought this story up before. I remember buying Pro Wrestling Illustrated once. I think I was like 11 years old. And they had pen pals. And you could actually write to people and talk about wrestling. And I remember these two fucking twins. And the photos are online somewhere. I got to get them. I got to show them to you. It is the funniest. It's disturbing funny. But they had two guys that claimed to be twin brothers. And one liked the baby faces and one liked the heels. And they wanted to be pen pals with everybody out there. They were in their 30s. It was one fucking guy. The photos were mirror images of each other. That's all it was. You saw the same birthmark, the same. This guy was in his 30s trying to be pen pals with 10-year-olds. These magazines were pushing this. There was no age limitation. Go back and look at those magazines from the 70s and the 80s. There was no age restriction. You had fucking 40-year-olds doing that, trying to be pen pals. Let's talk about superstar Billy Graham. Let's talk about Bob Backlund. Let's talk about Hardy Race, Ric Flair. Woo! You know, that's what it was. They did that. Fucking 900 numbers. You call a party line. Oh, what are you doing right now? Oh, I'm so hot. I'm 110 pounds and I have lace underwear. Oh, I sound so hot and sexy. But on the other line, I'm actually 295 pounds. You ever see that Beavis and Butthead episode? They think they're talking to somebody with phone sex and she's got hives everywhere. You see the fucking TV show Catfish? You see fucking people sending you private messages? Yeah, I'm fucking 16 and I'm a girl. But meanwhile, they're 45 and a guy. People manipulate. People do this stuff. They do it for fantasy. Some people actually go the extra mile. We won't name any particular names. This happens in all walks of life. What has transpired the last couple of days, you see all of these people flocking to it like blowflies to dead bodies. You know what a blowfly is? Somebody fucking dies. If I die in my yard tonight, if I go outside, just drop dead. Nobody fucking bothers to pick me up. Nobody looks. Everybody walks away. Within hours from fucking New Mexico, blowflies everywhere, flocking to my body. They smell it from hundreds of miles away, I think. They smell dead bodies. This is what's happening right now. You have non-victims. Suddenly, this is their life mission. Let's bash Jack Gallagher, and he deserves to be criticized. Let's bash every person on that list without fucking doing the due diligence first to see who actually is telling the truth, who is looking to get this, who is actually exaggerating. I'm sorry, everybody. Some people might not like what I'm about to say, but infidelity is not sexual abuse. If I fucking meet someone at a party and we have a one-night stand and we have a great time and then I just wake up the next day, I'm like, what the fuck did I do the night before? And she starts calling me and texting me and is like, hey, baby, had such a wonderful time next night. And then I have remorse. I'm like, oh, ew, yeah. And I fucking ignore her, and I don't answer the tweets, and I don't answer the I didn't commit no fucking sexual abuse. I don't do that. I was never sexy enough to be able to do that. See, that's one good thing about yours truly. Yours truly, even when I worked for wrestling promotions, you know, I'm not going to lie. In the back of my head, I was like, where are the ring rats? Where are all these shoot interviews of, you know, even Bill Alfonso used to be able to go, you mean to tell me I can't find nobody? Then I realized, you know, it's all exact, and it was the best thing for me because I'm like, you know what? I don't like drama. I'm not into one-night stands. I'm not into drama. I don't want, you know, controversy. I don't like lying. I don't like getting into fights or wars with people because I like to go to sleep at night with my head clear. I'd like to go to work and make the money. I want to get fucking engaged. I want to get married. I want to lose 30 more pounds. I want 10,000 more people to tune into these shows. I want you all to enjoy it to the maximum. And by the way, these super chats, man, we're on fire tonight, right? Doesn't it feel like one of those memorable episodes? Markel World, weird thing, weird this happening, just told me that he was going to expose, yes, for abuse. Yes, we said that early in the week. He is right, and this stuff is starting to come out. I tell you, look, I don't want to rate people's experiences that have been abused because some of them are really fucking disturbing. There are a lot of people out there that legitimately have been abused, taken advantage of. You know, in pro wrestling, this has happened in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. In the entertainment world, there's been casting couches. In sports and musicians, there's groupies, roadies, whatever you want to call it. You know, this happens in all walk of life. Of course, we don't want to ever see anybody be victimized by it. But you got to understand, too, we're in 2020. We're in 2020. That if I just go to my girlfriend and go like this, just joking around, you know, that's fucking abuse. I get arrested for that. You know, people take a bad relationship and immediately turn that into abuse. Infidelity. There were claims of infidelity the last couple of days. And I'm like, honey, you know, no disrespect, But, you know, somebody fucking just decided that, you know, you were just a one-night stand. You know, that is a dick and that is a jerk, but they shouldn't be cancer cultured and lose their jobs over it. You know, when you hear about Jack Gallagher fucking whipping out a condom while a girl is sleeping, you know, and then, you know, that shit, he deserves to be fired. He deserves to be banished. But here's my point. You got in 24 hours a list of 40 names. Some lists were 20, some lists were 30, some lists were 40, and people are running with it. They learn nothing about Velveteen Dream. They learn nothing about Enzo. They learn nothing about DD. Why? Because they are more concerned with having a conversation with all of you out there, because they need, social media is their life. Without it, that's it. Social media is their life. They found their new toy that they can break open and play with and this and that. Non-victims are talking about this 10 times more than the victims themselves. Take notice of that. Me, I didn't want to talk about this. Remember Wednesday? Remember I brought up David Starr? I brought up David Starr Wednesday. That story is what created all of this. And when I say Wednesday, you know what? What I'm hearing from the guy is fucking just fuck him. He gets banned, banished, blah, blah, blah. It's none of my business, you know? I didn't want to talk about it. But people have decided to make this, and look, more eyes to it is a big deal. But the victims are the ones that need to speak out if they feel comfortable enough. They don't owe it to you. They don't owe it to me. They don't owe it to podcasters. Oh, who are you talking about? You're naming their name anonymous. If it's true, you got to tell us who they are. Fuck you. They owe no explanation to any of us out there. They're venting. They want to get it out of their system. They don't want it bottled in anymore. Fucking Daphne. Everybody knows. Said it 10,000 times over. Everybody knows I worked for XPW. I stopped working for them in early 2003 because of the bus trips and the cancellations and Slash fucking ripping me off and people off and stuff like that. I had the opportunity to go to California for their shows. I had the opportunity to go to Pittsburgh for their final show, I think it was, and I didn't go. I didn't go to the Cali and the Pittsburgh shows. And look, I don't want to get into details with this, but I used to be, you know, decent, you know, friends with Daphne through XPW. I didn't talk to her every day, but we would talk a little bit about things here and there. And, you know, she always has my confidence, privacy. I've never, you know, I never ever reveal publicly any conversation I have. People that are on television right now that I talk to every other week online, private messages. I don't reveal nobody's conversation. The one thing everybody knows about me, and I know I'm talking with my hands tonight, is, you know, authenticity and respect and privacy. They got my word, you know. I don't fucking break it just so I could get an extra 100 people tuning in. I don't fucking say certain things just to get 50 more likes on my social media accounts. Fucking someone tells me something in confidence, keep it quiet. Never once have I ever ratted anybody or outed anything that people have told me privately. But the one that I did not know, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because she wrote it today. It was My Bloody Valentine, XPW's event in 2003. She revealed for the first time publicly that after that event was over, it was a 2-night event. After that event was over, she was in a bar, partying with everybody, having drinks and everything. And the next thing she remembers is waking up the next morning just wearing a T-shirt. To this day, she has no idea who date raped, drugged her. We don't know if that's exactly what happened, but she has no idea. She blacked out. She was in a bar. Next thing she remembers is the next day. In 17 years. Imagine having that on your brain for 17 years. So for everybody out there who is a victim, whether it happened a month ago or 20 years ago, it's painful. It still hurts. But they're the ones that have to talk. You see people out there tweeting 20, 30, 50, 100 times about this. They're not even a fucking victim. They want you, they're using this to have conversation with everyone out there. If they truly gave a shit about people getting abused, they wouldn't do it in other forms. All right? Abuse is abuse, whether it's sexual, mental, cyber, this and that. I don't ever say I haven't said the N-word in about 30 years. God honest truth. No one has ever heard me say that. That's why people used to try to tell others that I did say it, because it's not something you would ever hear from my lips, even when I would get into traffic things with people. You know, the best thing I ever did was create the name Matarazzi. You know, I rolled down the window. The fuck is wrong with you, you Matarazzi? Where did you learn how to drive? What'd you call me? You're fucking Matarazzi. You fucking moron. Don't fucking call me. You're a fucking Matarazzi. They have no idea what it is. I don't call anybody any of those words anymore. Doesn't matter if it's black or Polish or this or that. You know, you evolve over the years. If you don't like doing something, you don't do it. And people are so disturbed about all of these stories coming out. It's water cooler to them, tabloid to them. They want to come off as these big heroes. You know, why do you think these celebrities, especially celebrities out there, the loudest, most outspoken ones are the ones that usually get caught? Because the more they speak out against it, the more it shifts the blame. That's why, and this gets back to exposed wrestling, that's why when you see some of these websites out there, or some of these people out there, who the fuck are you to try to start telling me this, and this should be this way, this should be this way, this person should go to jail, this person should be fired, this person should be sued, and you, motherfucker, has a logo for a profile. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody who is 15 years old, 55 years old, male, female. No, if you cannot show your face in 2020, you have to hide behind logos, very old photos, child baby photos, that should be a red flag to everybody out there. Remember AEW Heels when they announced that and they did the Zoom talk and there was like 30 women on Zoom? And I posted the picture on Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite. It was such a beautiful thing to see. You had all different shapes and sizes and colors and this and that, just all feeling comfortable, getting out of their skin. Who the fuck are you to give me world life advice? Where you're so insecure about yourself, you don't even have a fucking picture of yourself online. A fucking logo. 5 years, 10 years. And I'm supposed to take advice from you? So you got exposed wrestling. Send us your stories. Tell us. Here you can be comfortable. Here you can tell us everything. We will expose everybody. You don't even know who fucking is running the page. So what happens? It's like drooling. It's like someone who hasn't eaten for a month. And they see fucking food for the first time. And they're having all these people. It makes them feel like like they have a worth. You don't even know who you're pouring your heart and soul out to. So what happens? You get the real stories, and some of the stories will never be able to be proven because some of these happened 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago, and really there's no proof. There are a lot of snakes in wrestling land that would use their authority. You have an up-and-coming, usually woman. Look at TJP. TJP talks today about how when he was 15 years old, trying to get into wrestling, he had these 20-something-year-old girls, you know, really making fun of him and whatever else. I don't know the whole story behind it. But the point is, he always kept it in because for guys, that's supposed to be a cool thing. You know, I have told this story on Patreon. I used to go to St. Margaret's School, Middle Village, Queens, when I was a kid. And there was a teacher, I don't want to ever say her name. I don't know if she's alive still, but there was a teacher that used to, when you misbehaved, used to put you under her desk. I swear on my mother, I will never do another show. She used to put people under a desk. I was under the desk at least 6 times during that year. And the one thing that I always remember from being under the desk is she smelled, and I also remember pantyhose. I was too young to let it comprehend. Did she ever touch me? No. Did she ever make moves to me? No. But the thing is that she would put people under her desk while she's wearing a skirt, and you see pantyhose and legs and this, and that. Now, if she was hot and she didn't smell like shit, maybe if I was a little bit older, I would have been like, wow, man, you remember the Van Halen song, Hot for Teacher? You know, guys, we're supposed to be like, yo, man, I wish I was in your position. You know, that's all I remember about it. I remember pantyhose and smell, scent, like ugly smell. Like I haven't, douched? I haven't douched in 2 weeks smell. In the summertime with no air conditioner at night. Smelled like shit. So, but no, I swear on it. And trust me, I guarantee you there are other people out there who have gone through this. But guys are supposed to keep this stuff in. Heterosexual guys, I should say. But there's a lot of predators out there. There's a lot of people out there who fantasize. You see the Jack Gallagher story? I asked a few people that know a few people. And I'm not claiming that I have sources that are best friends with Jack Gallagher and everything. But the girl that told the story, she woke up the next day and she saw the used condom in the pail. And she wasn't drugged or anything like that. She never ever claimed to have been raped. Didn't call the cops or anything like that. And the story I got tonight about this is that what Jack Gallagher did was he masturbated to her while she was passed out. And the reason why he wore the condom is so he doesn't blow a load on the fucking bed. So the condom was to basically absorb the load, and he threw it in the pail, you know, and that was that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. You want to fucking do that with a computer screen? You know, I joke around about some women in wrestling today. And you see some people out there that you know that, you know, when they're in the privacy of their own home and they're looking at some of these photos, you know they're taking out the lotion. I only do this because it makes a sound. When I used to do podcasts, when I used to do this, it sounded like, you know. Is that considered creepy? Is that considered, hey, you do a bikini shot, you know, I'm not supposed to get aroused by that in the privacy of my own home? You're laying next to somebody fucking sleeping, penetration or not, that's fucking abuse. And he's fired now. He's gone from WWE. You could look at one part of Jack Gallagher and say, look, he owned up to it and apologized for it. You know, the one thing I'm noticing also in a lot of these cases is alcohol. You're seeing a pattern of people who are much younger. And when you're much younger and you can't handle alcohol, alcohol makes you do things that you don't normally do. You know, on both sides. You know, you might be a little bit more vulnerable. Sometimes you can't even be in control. You know, somebody gets taken advantage of and that person is drinking also and they're saying no and they don't want to have happened what happened. You know, so there's a lot of victims out there that are speaking out now and it is therapeutic for them. It is helping others who have had this bottled in for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to speak out. Is this anything new? No. But when you start seeing now, this goes back to what I said about video being a game changer with cops and Karens. All right. And again, if you notice, I'm talking straight at you, no notes, wherever this goes, this goes. And I'll talk about SmackDown in a couple of minutes. And I'm talking about this all now is because it looks like Monday I will not be doing a show. I got invited here in New York, in my neck of the woods. Monday is phase 2 of this COVID thing. And restaurants are allowed to have outdoor dining and stuff like that. And, you know, I have a couple of my friends that were going to a restaurant, and the restaurant is basically treating it as stage 4. You know, we're in phase 2. They're treating it as phase 4. Fuck you, Cuomo. Fuck you, de Blasio. So I got invited Monday night to go out to dinner. And to be honest with you, after all this shit this week, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. So Monday, I'm probably going to go out. It's either I go out and have dinner with my friends and spend a couple hours and, you know, enjoy myself, or I watch the Iconics. kind of a hard decision, right? Or maybe Creepy Ali, because he may be on Raw now. Is this now? Now people out there, maybe we shouldn't say Creepy Ali anymore, because maybe some people will think, something wrong. The only reason why we use the moniker Creepy Ali, it's nothing about him personally. The wrestling character, if he was the one with the videos and hidden cameras, we joked that he had hidden cameras in women's locker rooms and stuff like whoever did the vignettes storyline, it's kind of creepy if you go back and you look at it. The only reason why we think it's Ali is because of the logo that keeps showing up on the screen. We're in week 18 of that storyline. 18 weeks. We haven't seen much of any of that the last 2 weeks. Is this storyline dead? Does this end up being worse than the Emelina? And the only reason why I say that about Emelina is Emelina went like 23 weeks. Remember the reincarnation or the rebirth or whatever it was of Emma to Emelina? And then she came back and that was it. So put a trackie from the old Horde Extreme DT. I don't know what you're talking. Oh, are you talking about like a track list as far as timestamps? I don't think we need that today because we've been pretty much talking about the same topic so far. But anyway, what I was saying before is that, the victims, they own nothing, no explanation to us. They don't want to tell you who the person is that did that to them. You have no right to force someone, shame them, guilt them, push them. If they want to name the person, they name the person. All right, but the victims are the ones that should be speaking out right now. And I see a huge number of people who are non-victims who are fucking obsessed with this because look at all the attention. Look at all the responses. Look at the conversations. Look at the hits. Look at the likes. Oh my God, look at all, and I'm not even a fucking victim. Unbelievable. So, you have mixed in with real cases, people out there that see that attention. I want that. I want that. How many people are fake? We've seen those stories, accused of being beat up by Trump supporters and it was fake. You see people accused of being beat up in a school, raped by fellow students, and it wasn't true. You've seen that happen over the years numerous times. People accusing abuse and other things, and it wasn't true. Just the person wanted attention. The person wanted all this love and support. Couldn't earn it. Needed to lie and tell sympathy stuff that wasn't true to get that attention. Yup. But you have to be very wary of all of these sites that are welcoming you with open arms, that you know nothing about them, because they could be the very predators, or maybe they're not predators, but they fantasize it. You don't think some people out there, get their rocks off by getting a private message from a girl telling them about a story of that they were, sexually abused and stuff like that? Those are fantasies for some people out there. You have no idea what you're looking at on the opposite side of the computer. That's why I wrote yesterday, all of these victims, you need to reach out to your inner circle of friends. They are there for you. They are there for your support. For all these victims know, some of their friends may also be victims, and you have no idea. You go to your friends. They're there to help pick you up. And at the same time, you might inspire someone else to get it off their chest. But I will say this. What disturbs me, whether it's the entertainment world, the sports world, the wrestling world, what upsets me is that if you take notice, all right, Matt Riddle was accused by one person, and this lawyer, although he wrote a statement on fucking printer labels earlier, which was just, stupid on his part, whatever. They're dead serious. They're dead serious about going after this woman that they claim is a stalker. Right? There's a lot more to that story, but I'm not the one to tell it to you. No one else should be the ones to tell it to you, unless they tell it to everybody and then you report what they say. You don't make up. You don't assume. You don't look at one sentence and then try to create the whole paragraph acting like you know what's going on. You know, and I'm sorry if it's a little hot in here. I'm not putting the air conditioner on. It makes too much noise. But, you know, you have people right now who have voiced out before against abuse, especially with women. You have people who have voiced out before, you know, changing their views over the years. I've done that too. And the funny thing is you have people out there who have accused other people of being white knights, of being virtual signalers. And meanwhile, they are the very thing that they accuse other people of doing. I don't like what's going on. And a lot of these stories are disgusting and disturbing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you every single story that is being labeled out there, because you want to know the story, you go read it from the victim themselves, and you handle it however you want. But the big problem, and it's happening in the entertainment world, it's happening in the sports world, it's happening in the music world, and it's happening in the wrestling world right now, is you have victims out there who have been abused. And it seems like, as far as revealing names, it stops when it gets to a certain level. Some people out there are so scared about making public somebody who might be a mega star in pro wrestling, a mega star in the entertainment world, a mega star, tens of millions of dollars in the sports world, in the movie world, you know, musicians. You see the accusations, and then it stops. And then once it stops here, you know, they're left nameless. And that just shows you the power of what some of these people did have over people. Until everybody gets outed, there are some people out there that are convinced that they will still get away with it. That's why you still have, you know, racist people doing racist things, even after the George Floyd thing. Remember when I said, I was bringing this up earlier, remember when I said that video's the game changer? Because it's not going to stop every tragedy. But if a dirty cop has a camera in his face and he's about to do something, or he's in the middle of doing something, it's not going to stop every dirty cop. But for some cops, it may force them to stop, to lift their leg, to let that person breathe, because it's being recorded. For a Karen out there, a Karen that sees that other people's lives have been ruined over a 15-second video, that if Karen has this immediate instinct to start ripping someone's heritage and it's being recorded, that fact that they're being recorded may be the moment that they shut the fuck up out of fear of their own lives being ruined. And yes, fear should not be the only reason. You should feel it and hear why you don't say or do terrible things. But that split second of stopping might allow you for a minute to let something creep in. And maybe you start thinking, you know what? You know, this is wrong. I shouldn't feel this way or think this way. There's a story that was floating around today. I thought it was such a really cool story. It was a black woman. I don't remember what state it was. I don't remember who the guy was or whatever, but it was a black woman. She wasn't paying attention at the gas meter in her car. Some of you may have heard about this story already. And her car ran out of gas. She was on the side of the road. She was probably in her maybe like mid-20s. And some white guy with all tattoos on him pulled up behind her along the highway and asked her what's wrong. She said she ran out of gas. So he said, I'll be right back. I'll go get you gas. He races off the highway, gets a couple of gallons of gas for her, comes back, puts the gas in her tank, asks her if she needs any money to go buy more gas. She says, no, she's good. And she's like, why are you doing this for me? And he said, because I don't want you to have a cop pull up, ask you what's wrong, and then they start, making her feel like she did something wrong. And this guy ended up being in a band somewhere. And the reason why I say this is this woman went on social media and said that she never in a million years ever understood why someone, would do something like that. And her point was, don't judge everybody simply by their skin color. She was baffled why this white person stopped and helped her. And the funny thing is, if you go and you look up that story, you will see her getting into fights, verbal fights on social media from other black people that would not accept this good story. Go look for yourself. So the reason why I'm saying this is, you have people out there that, you can't judge everybody, based on their worth, their this, their that. And, you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. Yes, Chris, I agree. It feels good to help people. There are a lot of very good people in this world. All right. These people that are going public and telling these stories, they have to be comfortable enough to say what they want to say. And if they don't want to out some people's names because of their stature and their position, that is their choice. But, it's just, you got to be very careful how you go forward. Because for some of these people who simply revealed a story of being abused, that changes their life forever. Because forever, they will be looked at a little bit differently. For most of us, we praise them and we feel bad for them and, we want them to keep strong and, just be well. There's always going to be that stigma that I'm not going to be the promoter that is accused of doing this, and that. Some people may, in fact, lose work over this. So it is an absolutely terrible story. But once again, we're in an age where simple, mistreatment, I don't condone any mistreatment, but I used the example earlier. You meet a girl, you mutually have some fun, one night stand or whatever it is, or you talk for a week, and then you finally get together and you do the nasty, and then that person doesn't want to talk to you anymore after that. Sorry, that's not sexual abuse. That's a creep, but that's not sexual abuse. In this day and age, for a lot of people, it is. So you have to really take a step back, let these people tell their stories, and see where it goes. You cannot immediately crucify every story that you read simply because it sounds believable or because it really strikes a nerve with you. Because, again, that Velveteen Dream story, people out there, this is what annoyed me the most about it. And I told you, I got an email from somebody recently that I'm not sure it's the person who it is, but really thanked me for, keeping in, things in perspective and looking at timelines and other stuff out there. There are some clout chasers out there. There are people that are so fucking desperate for attention. And they'll turn it on themselves. They'll claim this, they'll claim that. And they weren't even in, in the scenarios that they claim to be in. But because you see all this love and respect and attention thrown back at other people, I want that. I want that. But you see Jimmy Havoc? Let me tell you about Jimmy Havoc. He's going to be on hiatus with AEW for quite some time. Jimmy Havoc has been accused of some violent behavior, some abusive behavior, alcoholic problem, some stories have come public about him, and he has not denied them. So AEW posted a release tonight. And again, everything I say tonight is from here and here, not from looking at notes. I have my notes from SmackDown and a couple other little things, but this is straight from wherever it goes. And I'm looking at everybody's reactions, so we go from there as well. But you see, Jimmy Havoc, that's a very interesting story. Extremely interesting. And I am not going to assume, guess, because it would go against everything that I said tonight. But I'll tell you my reaction to it. AEW is giving Jimmy Havoc time to get rehab and get some help for his problems. He's got some depression issues or mental issues. He's got some medicinal issues, some abuse. The abuse could be the masquerade pain. I'm not justifying any of his actions, but they have not flat out fired him or released him. And people are finding that very, very strange. Why would you keep someone there? Well, number one, you want people to be honest and own up to what they've been accused of. The story of Jimmy Havoc having some incidents, some of those stories are known already. Just that nobody bothered to give a shit about it. So some of what's coming out, people did not know. But some of these stories people already knew. Just didn't give a shit about it. And the only thing that I'm confused about with his situation is, since a lot of people in wrestling knew of his actions, why was nothing ever addressed before? And that goes for a lot of other promotions out there. And the reason why I say that is because if AEW fires him for the time being, you might find out that other people within AEW knew about his stuff and yet still hired him. And what does that do, for AEW? You have to, and my whole point of all of this is why you can't get a list and just start going down the line and assuming everything that you see from every single person being accused of something is real. The Jack Gallagher one, I just, thought was absolutely disgusting. I mean, there's a lot of disgusting ones out there, but that one, I just picture, that going down, and it's just disgusting. There was another person Justin Roberts. People are like, how come you're not AEW? How come you're not doing anything about Justin Roberts? Justin Roberts apparently tried to solicit pictures from a 17-year-old, and there's screenshots of text message conversations where he says, you don't have to send me nudity, and I won't keep them. We don't know if it's true or not. Jim Cornette, there's all these accusations that some people, in order to work, I don't know if it's OVW or whatever, that they would have to sleep with his ex-wife or take baths with her and this and that. Now, what I find interesting about this is you have shoot interviews. And the funny thing is that over the years, I've seen a lot of people review shoot interviews. And the funny thing about it is, when it came to the crazy sex stories, rats, whatever you want to call them. I'm not calling them that, but the sex stories. How do people usually react to it watching these shoot interviews? Funny. Oh, what about the story of blah, 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 blah? Everybody thought it was funny and entertaining. It ain't funny or entertaining anymore. Why is it so different now? Because you take that stance and you'll get banished from social media. Oh! I can't be banished from social media. That's my life. I've traded everything in. I have 2 able-bodied hands. I got 2 able-bodied feet. I could go out and pump gas if I need money that bad. I could work in a 7-Eleven if I need money that bad. I can fucking go deliver papers. I won't be around anybody if I need money that bad. There's a lot of things I could do. I could fucking prepare meals at a pizzeria but no. I'll just sit at home and social media all day. And I'll cry to the world how I got no money. But yet I do nothing about it. So they have to go along with the program. And again, you see people that will go through the formula. Remember the formula I put up when Hana Kimura committed suicide? Now everybody talks about Hana Kimura. Everybody gives a shit now. But, you know, others, which we've talked about in the past, you don't see no discussion about it. You know, it's because Hana Kimura is a very popular topic. You know, all you got to do is, my God, you know, the cyberbullying, you know, you can't have another Hana Kimura. Don't give a fuck about Hana Kimura. Don't give a fuck about a lot of these people out there. They'd rather go to Expose Wrestling in a list instead of the victims themselves. You have not victims talking their stories, and non-victims are the ones being the most outspoken about it. This should disturb everybody. And when I said before about the video, the Karens and the cops and everything, this is the same form of it. You put a camera in somebody's face, may make them think twice from doing something or saying something. Now you have speaking out. Now, the next time a snake in the grass maybe thinks that he could do dinner night. You hear about that story with dinner night? There was a promoter that if you had the best match of the night, I think it was every Thursday, you get free dinner. Not $50 gift card from Grubhub. No, I take you out to dinner. And I read one story where a girl had the best match. She wanted Red Lobster. Next thing you know, he wanted to give her his Red Lobster. You know, and the guy was naked. You saw another wrestler out there that was talking about how, you know, he was around others, and next thing you know, the promoter's there with nothing on but fucking hair gel. You know what I mean? So this has been going on for decades and decades and decades, but speaking out is the equivalent of putting a camera in someone's face. You scare people straight. That's what it is. When you see people go into boot camp, look, I have been an open book about most of my life. I have told a lot of stories that I never, ever in a million years ever thought I would tell. Patreon, it gets a little more raw, but I did a lot of stealing when I was a teenager. And when I got busted for hawking my mother's mink coat in 1988, my father threw me out of the house. I had no place to go. My friends wouldn't take me in. I realized I had nothing. So my uncle took me in, God rest his soul. And he said to me, he's like, you got to make a decision. Your father's not letting you back in the house. This isn't let him cool off for a couple of days and you go back home. I did a hell of a lot worse. The mink coat was the last straw. I realized I had to join the service. I went into the Navy. I was in the Navy for about 4 months, 3 or 4 months, something like that. And I saw 2 people commit suicide in the Navy, one with a razor blade, one filling his mouth up with shaving cream so he suffocated and died. I saw a lot of emotional abuse, drill sergeants, a lot of the shit, and I was fat. I had no business being in the Navy in the first place. I was way too overweight to be in the Navy. This isn't like Stripes with John Candy that someone who's 300-something pounds could just go in the service. It doesn't work that way. But I went in. It scared me fucking straight. I got out of the service. I vowed never to do any shit like that again. And the funny thing is, and it really made me cry, that for many years, probably 5 to 10 years after that, I know for a fact that sometimes when I went to go visit my mom and my dad, that they would intentionally leave like $100 on their table or a $20 bill on the floor by the couch. And, you know, the first time you thought, oh, Ma, you dropped money on the floor. Then when you see it happen 3, 4, 5 times, you realize traps. See if I could just like, hey, nobody's looking, and put it in my pocket. And now they trust me with their life. It scared me straight. You know, I thought it was fucking funny. You know, I told the stories about going to fucking massage parlors and this and that. Where did I get the money? I told you the stories. Me and my friends stole money out of people's drawers from girls that were babysitting. You know, I know you got gold. You know the stories. So getting scared straight is the only way sometimes to get through the people. So what's happening right now with speaking out is absolutely necessary. But you have to. You can't run to be the first website to report something. You can't run to put your 2 cents on social media about a particular person. You have no fucking idea if it's true. Unless other people cooperate with it or collaborate with it. What did I say, cooperate? What am I, fucking Elmer Fudd? Collaborate with it. Or the person admits it themselves, or sometimes you may have to come to an assumption. But you don't go 5 fucking minutes. You see what happened with Matt Riddle today? I saw all of these people jumping down at Matt Riddle. Oh, he exposed his dick. He grabbed this person, this and that. But meanwhile, you know, there was facts out there that his lawyer actually had approached the courts about getting a restraining order against this woman who was stalking him. Now, I don't know the truth of all of this. We weren't in the car. We don't know all the facts. But the facts seem to be going in Matt Riddle's corner. You would have went on social media this morning. You would have been convinced that Matt Riddle fucking did this and did it in fucking Disney World in front of 1,000 people. Everybody was convinced that Matt Riddle did this. And then what happened? You had people on websites and people on podcasts saying that Matt Riddle has been removed from SmackDown. Will not be on SmackDown tonight. Will not be doing this. And as I'm watching all of this, I'm saying to myself, logistics-wise, this is what I was open up with earlier. Forget taking a step back. Just look at logistics. This is where vegetables. Remember I said earlier, vegetables? SmackDown was taped yesterday. Or Wednesday. All right? You tell me what you would have done for the first 30 minutes of SmackDown when this story came out today. What do you think they were going to do? Fucking play the Boneyard match? They had AJ Styles coming out for his ceremony. He called Daniel Bryan in the ring to put the belt around him. Next thing you know, Matt Riddle's music hits. Brow! We all talked about it last week. We knew this was happening. He came out, challenged AJ Styles' fucking phenomenal match, the face that runs the place against the bro that runs the show. And Matt Riddle gets the win. People are fucking shocked. Oh my God, how the fuck could you have AJ Styles lose clean right after he won the title? And I'm saying to myself, you fucking pay attention about Miz and Morrison. You pay attention about the tag titles, the women. You pay attention about New Day, Forgotten Sons, this. How many times have people just won belts and then they lose a non-title? That's the formula WWE's been using for years. New champions, lose non-title. That's their way of thinking, suspension of disbelief. This person won non-title. Hey, there's a chance maybe this person could win. That's what it was. But just, again, vegetables. It was already taped. What do you think WWE was going to do tonight? Suddenly, oh, we can't show. All the times that they highlighted Matt Riddle throughout the night and they showed repeats, what were they going to do? Keep showing the clip of Undertaker sitting in his love seat? Just common sense logistics. There was no fucking way that WWE was going to be able to edit that much and fill it with other stuff to cover up Matt Riddle. It was all over SmackDown tonight. But again, vegetables. They're either too stupid. Not one fucking person took a step back and said, wait a minute. They taped this Wednesday. How would they be able to cover up all this stuff? You know, what are they going to replace it with? Not one person, either vegetables or they used this accusation of sexual abuse to push their website and their podcasts. Come on. Seriously. Vegetables. Vegetables. And the funny thing is, I opened up my DMs on Twitter to everybody. Because I had a few people DM me talking about some of this stuff. Very serious conversations. And I didn't want anybody to, you know, because I don't follow many people. You know, there's people out there that follow thousands of people just to get follow backs. You take away the follow backs, they have nothing. Me, I follow maybe 200 people. I opened up my DMs, and because I wrote yesterday, if anybody's really, you know, got some pain, even people that, you know, I'm friendly with, you want to talk, I always have my ear, and I always have my shoulders available. My ear for listening and my shoulders to lean on, because people know they could trust me. I've never kissed and told. In all of the years being around people, never kissed and told. I have no skeletons. I have nothing. That's why, again, I'm in many ways a loner doing this stuff now. I bring it up many times. You see what I write on social media, and you saw what I said yesterday about this whole speaking out thing. Take note of all the people who did not like or react to anything that I said, because they know deep down inside they're doing the very thing that they claim that they're against. That's why many times social media is very boring to the genuine people out there, to the authentic people out there, and to the people out there that just want to enjoy and live normal lives. No, they have to be the center of attention. And again, you want these stories disturb you, go to the victims. You don't flock to the non-victims, because the non-victims have been guilty in other ways, and this is their way to basically get brownie points and kudos and, man, you know, I'm totally with you on this, and yeah, this person should be fired and this person should be released and the cops should investigate this. Well, you a fucking attorney? You're a fucking clown. There's thousands of people doing this right now. This person should be banned. This person should be banished. Oh, never mind. That's what they're saying about Matt Riddle earlier. That's what they're saying about this person. They should be fired. They should be arrested. They should be banned. Investigators should be looking at this. You know, even though there's no proof whatsoever and it's 10 years old, oh, investigators should be checking this out. Yup. People, well, fuck are you? What are you? You're a fucking clown. And these people on social media, they're suddenly experts in law enforcement and investigations. It sounds good. Cut their nuts off. 200 likes. Put their balls in their mouth. See how it feels. Cut their balls off and stick it in their own mouth and see how it feels when they fucking did it to someone else. 500 likes. Or even worse. You know, it's as crazy as this sounds. You know, I wanted to be a wrestler too, and I'll never forget. You know, I was 23 years old. I couldn't wrestle a lick, and I went to this wrestling school. And this guy, we'll just call him Pat, you know, he sat me down and he says, you know, I can really help you in the business. And he put his leg on my thigh, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. But, you know, he told me to talk to this guy. His name was Mel, and he used to work for Phillips. And, you know, he'll steer me in the right direction. And the next thing I know, you know, I was being groped, but I wanted to be a wrestler so bad. You know, my name is Barry. This has happened for years and years and years to real people. But when you see that love and attention and solace and support, I want that. I need that. I got it. Just like people who accuse other college students of raping them. Just like people out there accusing Trump supporters of beating them up. Just like people who got... I'll just say that I was sexually abused, and I'll keep the person anonymous. and I'll claim it was for a school that's no longer in business, and the main trainer of the school is now dead. You know, oh my God, I went to King Kong Bundy School. And I don't want to name names, but this one person, every time he would put me in a move, somehow his hands would always go near my crotch area. I never said anything because all I wanted to do is be a pro wrestler. But now since I'm 40 and since I work as a bookkeeper now, I feel more comfortable to say it. Meanwhile, none of it is true. None of it is true. You will never, if there's any other podcasters out there talking like this, my props, my much love, respect, and appreciation and acknowledgement from me. Because unfortunately, what I am saying right now does not get me tweet fucked. I don't even get a hand job out of this. It's not a popular subject to take. I could just sit here and say, Jimmy Havoc, AEW, there's no way that people in management didn't know about his stuff. They still hired him. What do you have to say about that? Then every other person out there who may at some point in their life, you know, maybe took advantage of a situation, then it becomes dominoes. Very easy to take that route. Very easy for me to profess everybody out there, we all should be able to work in an environment where nobody's abused, and we should, and oh, you kumbaya. Fuck that. Talk real. You feel bad for these victims, go to the victims. Don't go to me. I even wrote this on social media yesterday. And a few people accused me of being disrespectful to my followers. I wrote on my page, if you're coming to me to talk about this like tabloids and water cooler stuff, save it. Go to another podcaster. I'm not interested. And that's considered disrespecting my followers. You believe that shit? Again, you know, this is the safe haven. Here is where all of the people who are shady, who are, you know, hide everything, who have done things in their past, who will now take up this cause and be extremely passionate about it. But with a clear fucking mind, they don't have any problem abusing, insulting, putting other people down, hiding it behind jokes and other stuff. It's the cycle. It's the cycle. Right now, you replace Hana Kimura's death with abuse. People of abuse. Oh my God, that sucks. This should never happen, blah, 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 blah. And then step 2, get all the likes and all the attention, this and that. And then you go to step 3, and it starts to wear off a little bit, so you got to repeat the same fucking thing that you said 15 times on social media because people are starting to, like, not pay attention to you anymore. And then eventually you go back and you go right back to insulting others, shaming others, putting other people down, doing it usually as comedy. And then until the next tragedy, oh, we should all be better. We should treat everybody. Nobody should go through that. It's the cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. You just didn't have social media in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. 2010s, you started to get it. So, anyway, I think I said enough. And, you know, again, you know, I think this is probably the number one reason why I think it's good for me to take a little breather next week. Because there's nothing else that I could say right now that could add really to what I'm saying. What I will tell you is that on Wednesday Night Dynamite, though, the people who have been fired, the people who have been released, Dave Lagana, I'm still getting all the details there. You know, now look, you followed me on Wednesday Night Dynamite, and Tungun, I'll get to you in a second. You followed me on Wednesday Night Dynamite. I talk about NWA. Not a whole lot, but I talk about it enough. I watch Power every week. I follow Carneyland. We see the other shows they're doing. I talked about Carneyland being like one of my crazy dreams. And I just said this past Wednesday, you take note of all these other people out there that never fucking write a single sentence about NWA. They claim they watch it all the time, but had no idea what Ricky Starks' arsenal was all about when they saw him wrestle Cody. Wow, Ricky Starks, he can go. He can go. He can go. Wow, look at Ricky Starks. Man, this guy's got great talent. I watch NWA Power every week. I had no idea he was a champion. I thought there was some other Spanish person. Wow, he can go. Fucking phonies. Now Dave Lagana resigns because of alleged sexual abuse. Now these same people, they never spend a moment talking about NWA. Oh my God, Dave Lagana, he stepped down. Production is on hiatus. What are you going to do? When am I going to see Carneyland? Oh my God. Zicky Dice could debut on AEW next week. And you know what these goofs would do? Wow, Zicky Dice, he can go. Wow, he's like a throwback. It's almost like old Diamond Dallas Page. Holy shit, this guy can go. He's got charisma. And they claim they watch it every week. I don't know why I'm doing this. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't remember if I used to do that when I did audio only. But seriously, am I making this up, everybody? Again, this is why I am unpopular. Because a lot of people out there, you know, look, there's thousands of wrestling shows out there. For some people out there, they think there's only 3 or 5. And when I criticize, oh, he's talking about me. He's talking about me. There's fucking, don't put yourself too much on a pedestal. There's thousands of wrestling shows out there. And there are hundreds of them talking about Dave Lagana tonight. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen with NWA? And they never watched a minute of the fucking promotion. Never watched a minute of it. I came to YouTube to do video. I came here to do other shows, to broaden my work, my style, challenge myself, reinvent, repackage, you know, be able to be me a lot more. You know, the one thing that I've brought up so many times in the past that all of you have said in different ways, like when they heard me audio only and saw a logo, an occasional photo, you still painted a picture about me that was totally different than what I'm all about. And that is probably one of the coolest things that is still to this day still being said to me. And again, that is why yours truly is not popular. You know, Jason Solomonster, God bless him, Connor, Lee Sanders, Mish, you know, Joe Cronin once in a while, JD from New York, just to say a few, Dells to a certain extent, Shaheen and a few others, always throwing my name out there for others. And I appreciate that. There's other people out there that fucking despise what I say because, again, I don't like taking credit for it, but they ain't nobody. There ain't nobody out there that is going to be straight up and real with you that could do an hour and 20 minutes right now without looking at fucking notes once. I don't even know why I wore the goddamn glasses the whole time. I hate wearing glasses. But I really can't see my notes unless I start looking closely. But see, no one is going to tell you straight up, like just us hanging out, having a conversation, and being real about it. Because it doesn't get hits. What I said tonight, you see that banner, the last 2 shows, you know, people are telling me, you got to put catchy letters and graphics and this and that. And I don't mind doing it, but I won't do clickbait. I won't do clickbait. And there's a lot of people that do clickbait with their titles. And it's like, that's not me, man. So the Ric Flair thing, I made that myself. That Ric Flair cartoon was a pre-made cartoon. But I decided to make his lower extremities skin color and blur it, put the little sensor thing. You know, I did that myself. I figure that's more of me as far as trying to describe what this show is going to be about. But look, man, I'm not trying to crucify Ric Flair for stuff that he did years ago. You know, this has happened in wrestling, and it doesn't justify it. But what's happening now is nothing new. So if you found it interesting and funny and entertaining on a shoot interview, why are you so disturbed now? That's what I don't get. That if this would have been a story told on a shoot interview, can you imagine a Jack Gallagher shoot interview? Yo, man, I'm not going to do his accent, but yo, man, you know, I remember this party. It was New Year's Eve. I was hanging out with this girl, and, you know, why I was even sleeping in the same bed in the same room with her, I don't know. Why am I moving like I am? But you could picture Jack Gallagher. Why was he in the same fucking room as this person sleeping? When that person woke up and Jack Gallagher is in the same room, the fuck you doing in my room? The fuck out of here. So there was a little bit of, acceptance. Sharing a room? I don't know, maybe. But I could picture him. Yeah, there was this one time I was in this room sharing with this person. Next thing I know, she was asleep, and, I one thing led to another, and next thing I know, I'm just railing her. And some people in a shoot interview, they'll recap it and be like, wow, he told crazy sex stories and this and that. Because there's a lot of shoot interviews out there that talk about crazy sex stories like that. And for a lot of people, it was entertaining and amusing. Now, because it's in the form of 320 characters, now all of a sudden it's no longer entertaining and amusing. So that is why me, never sexually abused anyone. No skeletons in my closet with that. A little bit of, shady business back in the day here and there, and taking some shortcuts to try to better my life. Sure, absolutely. Don't deny it. Nothing that was criminal. But as far as abusing people, hurting people like that, ain't nothing. And again, it's probably in one way why I kind of was glad that I was a fat roly-poly back then. Because I could tell you, when I was hanging out and I told some funny stories about XPW, indie wrestling, and seeing some things with my own eyes, unfortunately, I could never ever tell the stories to you like, yeah, I was in the hotel and, this unnamed woman came in and she took her robe off, and, next thing I know, I'm doing my own form of extreme. Never could tell stories like that. Nobody was interested. Nobody was interested in yours truly. And that's a wonderful thing looking back on it, because I have no skeletons to be worried about. So, is Jesus in my closet? I don't know. Look, I feel you treat people how you want to be treated. And, plain and simple, it's an easy formula. Just treat people how you want to be treated. Not just, verbally, but physically. People, look, everybody fantasizes. You're married to someone, you fantasize about the girl that lives down the block. Some people fantasize about the babysitter. There's movies been made about that. You see someone hot in pro wrestling, you fantasize about them. Some people take the fantasy a little bit too far. You saw what that one guy was writing to Alexa Bliss earlier in the week. Guy was almost to the level of stalking her. I mean, just saying that his life was devastated and this and that. There are some people out there. That's why if you notice, you'll see some people out there, regular folk like you and I, and they'll write tons of stuff. Or we write tons of stuff, and they won't respond to it. Or what they'll do, what a lot of people will do, is they'll just, because you were hashtagged in something, they'll just hit like, and then you realize they didn't even read what you wrote. They're just writing a like simply because it's like a thank you of, thank you for mentioning me. Thank you for including me in your paragraph. So I hit the like button. No, I asked you a fucking question. I didn't ask you to like my stuff. I asked you, hey, do you think Trump will win in 2020? And I just hit the like button. What the fuck is that? I asked you a goddamn question. How many times has that happened to all of you out there? You ask someone a question, and their response is just liking your post. They're not even paying attention to your stuff. But when those same people write a question to a wrestler and the wrestler responds, within 9 seconds, they'll write follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. They think all of a sudden they're having a big conversation with the person. And usually the wrestler does not respond after the first tweet, and then they just look like absolute goofs out there. Yeah, people, look, right now, anyone else could ever bring that shit up? No, because they're guilty of it. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about SmackDown. Definitely need to bring up a couple of super chats. What school do you go to? The truth will not be told now, like these websites, goof websites in journalism and wrestling. You know, again, it is so disrespectful to jump the gun on some people when you don't know the facts. There were so many people crucifying Matt Riddle earlier today. I don't know. Look, Velveteen Dream situation was a little different because I did a lot of research. The Matt Riddle thing, there is no research for me to do. I could do a little digging as far as court goes to see if anything was actually filed, order protections or attempts at it. But in a case like that, we really don't have much of any proof. So there's really not much I could add to it. So for now, because a lawyer, and it was a legit lawyer, I did the checking on that, and he's not going to, as a lawyer, going to bullshit on his letterhead with his fucking life saying that he goes to the court and this and that. You know, lawyer's not going to do that. A goofy fucking Twitter, whatever you call someone, you know, a twit will do that, but not someone who's a fucking lawyer. So you kind of weigh that in a little bit. But you have to wait. You have to see where certain things go. I guarantee, look, Ligaro, whatever the fuck his name is, he was accused of a few things from a few different people. He owned up to a couple, but he said some others aren't true. Now, to be honest with you, my gut feeling, what the fuck's his name again? I really don't give a shit about this guy. Was it Liguro? What's his name? Yeah, we'll talk about SmackDown in a second. But he owned up to a few, but he didn't own up to the others. Now, my gut feel, El Ligero. Something tells me more stuff will come out. I'm not going to crucify him. I'm not going to support him. But I'll say this. If I'm accused of 5 things, 5 different people accuse me of something, and all 5 are forms of, I don't know, calling them excessively in the wee hours in the morning. Just calling. And 3 of the 5 are similar, and I owned up to it, and I say, look, I did these 3, but I didn't do these 2. And the 2 that I claim I didn't do is very similar to the other 3, and the 5 people don't know each other, and they all happen to come out at the same time. Then you start saying to yourself, what are the chances of all 5 having similar stories like that? Like if I had a fetish that I went to 5 different neighbors' houses, and back when you used clotheslines, remember clotheslines? You hang everything out in the yards. You know what was funny when I was a kid? It was funny to hang out in my yard, because in my yard when I lived in Middle Village, there was like 6 yards that were alongside of it, because we had my yard, and then there would be like one neighbor's yard here, another neighbor's yard here, another one here, and it was like 4 actually. And each one of them had clotheslines. And it would be hysterical because one woman was like in her 70s and she would hang out like these giant bloomers out to dry. And then you had this other woman who would fucking hang out like Victoria's Secret stuff. Me, I was too young to appreciate it. But you see all this lace and this stuff hanging out to dry. That was one cool thing about a kid, seeing all this whacked out shit on clotheslines. Now, let's say, 3 of my neighbors went public and said, someone's been stealing my underwear. And then I'm accused of stealing their underwear. And then I have 2 other people that say, I found my underwear in the fucking grass with a load all over it. I own up to these 3, but I don't own up to these 2. I don't own up to these. But they're all underwear. and somebody touched them all, and some were stolen, but some weren't stolen, but they blew a load on it instead. You know, there might be a possibility that I may have done these as well. So that's why I say, don't race to be the first person to react to this stuff. When in doubt, just take a step back. You don't get brownie points because you were the first to put someone on crucify them, nail them to the cross. Because when you're wrong, you could change the subject. You could praise fucking Matt Riddle's match tonight. You could fucking talk about, you know, the weather. You could fucking mix in a tweet that, you know, everybody say prayers for me and this and that, just to try to get off the topic. People don't forget. All of these people jumped the gun and crucified this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. Well, I was reacting to what other people were saying. No, be your own fucking person. So anyway, getting back to some chats, and then we'll talk a little bit about SmackDown a little bit. Tungoon, better gimmick, the hacker or GTV? Come on, man. It's not even close. GTV was awesome. And they call you the Big Show? One of my favorite segments, man. GTV was great. GTV was funny. You know, I liked, you know, the random shit. They had some wild ones that nobody talks about anymore. This hacker thing, man, if this would have been on Raw all this time, then you could kind of say, well, Paul Heyman was the one behind it. Now Paul Heyman, since he's not writing anymore, Bruce Pritchard just decided to axe it. But Bruce Pritchard, who was doing SmackDown, is also doing Raw right now. But the funny thing is that there's rumors that Ali's now going to be on Raw. Now, think about this. Bruce Pritchard has been writing SmackDown. Bruce Pritchard probably behind the segments of The Truth Will Be Told, because even if someone else was writing it, something tells me if he's the lead writer, you go to that person and say, 12 weeks of this shit? Where's the fucking conclusion? 14 weeks of this shit? Are you kidding me? 15 weeks? We're up to 18 weeks. Why would Bruce Pritchard just sit back and allow 18 weeks of this if he wasn't involved in it? So now he's writing Raw. And now there's rumors Ali's going to Raw. So the same person who's, you know, in charge of the storylines is going to be on Raw. I'm not 100% sure about Ali going to Raw. Not trying to break news, but there's a lot of rumors that he may be going to Raw. We'll see. We will see. Also, Tungu wants to know, how big of a health risk is Trump's Tulsa rally? I'll be honest with you, dude. I'll make a prediction right now. Every single person, or man, you know what? 98% of everybody attending, 99%, unless they're protesters, 99% of everybody going will wear a mask, because they will do that. And look, I'm not saying this to support Trump right now. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. I think everybody that's going, that's there to support Trump, they know that CNN and a lot of other news outlets are just drooling, hoping to write and report on how the crowd didn't wear masks and they were careless and they could care less and this and that and they're going to spread COVID. So they're not going to give these news outlets the opportunity to rip them. You will see 99% of those in attendance. Maybe outside you won't have as many, but inside, you mark my words, 99% of everybody there will have masks on. Even if they don't want to wear masks, they will do that. If they're supportive of Trump, they will do that to, you know, just to not give all the anti-Trump ammunition, in my opinion. So, Austin Kinkle, I made him legitimately angry. Oh, made him I'm sorry, I didn't make you angry. Made him legitimately angry seeing Enzo get dragged through the mud again. This is why no one takes the Me Too hashtag seriously anymore. Well, I'll be honest with you, Austin. The Me Too hashtag is still very real. and it's still very serious. It's very serious to victims. I don't mean this the way it comes out, and I don't mean it in a broad sense. I don't give a fuck about non-victims thinking that the Me Too hashtag is worthless. It don't apply to you. I don't give a fuck when non-victims think that hashtag speaking out is meaningless or worthless. You ain't a victim. Those are for victims to get the courage and the support to speak out. You're going to get fakes. You're going to get people exaggerating. You're going to get people that are going to misinterpret, being a creep from being a sexual abuser. You're going to get that. There is no question. That's just the way it is. So you will have people that will give Me Too a bad name, that will give speaking out a bad name. If Me Too means is really meaningful for someone out there who's not a victim, if speaking out, hashtag speaking out, is really meaningful to someone out there who's not a victim, then show respect to the hashtag by not jumping the gun and start throwing darts at people unless you are 100% sure. When Lagana steps down and resigns from NWA because of a sexual abuse allegation, you don't just lose your whole career if it's not true. You fight for yourself. You stand up to yourself. You have other people stand up for you. He didn't do this. I didn't do this. I swear to everybody out there I didn't do this. Could you imagine if people just quit, get fired, and step down simply because they're accused and they don't even want to fight it? Lagana for stepping down, there is some truth to this story. Gallagher getting fired, there is truth to this story. Jimmy Havoc, very interesting situation that they did not terminate him. He is very beloved and respected in AEW. Is he the easiest person to get along with? No. But he immediately said he would seek out help. You want people to rise up. You want people to grow and learn from their misgivings. All right, there are some people out there, and I've said this before, and I think I said it earlier too. There are some people out there, a lot of people out there, who wanted the Velveteen Dream story to be true. They insisted that the Velveteen Dream story to be true. They had to have the Velveteen Dream story to be true. Same thing with the Jimmy Havoc situation. They need to nail this guy to the cross. They need to punish him. They don't want redemption. They don't want things for other people not to be true. They want to crucify and put down as many people as possible. Not interested in that. That's why I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but I wanted to give everybody my opinions on it, how I felt about it, how I felt about the careless reporting of it, how I felt about people jumping the gun and ripping people that it appears that their accusations were untrue. And, this fetish of treating this like locker room talk, water cooler talk, like it's a tabloid newspaper. It's like picking up the National Enquirer. No, I don't take part in that. That's why you will not see me having, discussions about this. Now, yes, Saturday afternoon on Patreon, it's going to be a live call-in show. And it's being a call-in show over there because I'm still testing out doing call-ins. Next couple of weeks, we will have it here. We will have it on Wednesday as well. So look out for that. So, but if people want to call in tomorrow and talk about this topic, maybe challenge me on some things, talk about some things, people saying that, oh, British wrestling is over, it's fried, it's done, it's history, UK wrestling is dead. That is just so irresponsible. It is so irresponsible. It's not even funny, because there are so many people out there that aren't abusers. There are so many people out there trying to make a career out of this. And to turn around and to just label the entire British wrestling scene as garbage and toxic and filled with predators and this and that. You know, again, you notice the pattern of a certain age group. You notice the pattern of promoters. You notice the pattern of alcohol. You see a lot of similar things, and a lot of it are parties. Oh, I was at this party. I was at a New Year's party. Oh, I was in a bar. I was at this party. I was at this party. There's usually a party and alcohol involved in a lot of cases. And that's a recipe for a lot of misbehavior. I have done, stupid things, being drunk. Nothing as far as sexual abuse. But when you're drunk, you do stupid things. And for some people, it gets to the level of possibly criminal. That's just the way it is. So, with that said, how much time we got left? Because I'm definitely keeping this under 2 hours today. We're at an hour 41. So let's talk a little bit about SmackDown. I already talked about the opening. AJ Styles comes out, and it still blows me away Monday that people just didn't know that it was friends and family in attendance. People made all these that was so ridiculous. Well, we had that similar today. Wasn't as bad today as far as crowd reactions go, but you have Renee Young in the middle of the ring with the IC championship. I kind of like the look of the IC title. I know it's been around for a little bit now, but I kind of like the look. I will admit that I do miss more of the identity factor. There was some colors to some of these belts that you immediately knew was this title or this title, but it's a nice looking belt, and was presented really, really well on the table. And Renee Young, AJ Styles says that, no, you're not the right person to put the belt around my waist. He challenges Daniel Bryan to come into the ring, put the belt around his waist. Daniel Bryan reluctant at first. Then Daniel Bryan, starts talking a little smack to AJ Styles, talking about him, that you're a man, then prove it. And, he basically tells AJ Styles to let Drew Gulak challenge you for this title. So next week, Drew Gulak versus AJ Styles for that title. That's something that I said about a month and a half ago. Drew Gulak should have been in that tournament, should have advanced. WrestleMania, when he won that match, he should have got the shot at WrestleMania, not Daniel Bryan. But Daniel Bryan, obviously, name value, that's why it is what it is. I agree, Daniel. There ain't no way he's dropping that belt to Drew Gulak. But, they're in the ring, and, Daniel Bryan's bringing up Grand Metalik, Big E, Shorty G. As far as challengers, you got to beat them all, and then Matt Riddle's music hits. And, once again, we talked about this last week. I don't think it was a surprise for a lot of my friends out there tuning in. Shocked a lot of people online. It was pretty funny. Again, earlier in the day, people writing on websites and doing podcasts saying that Matt Riddle is off SmackDown. Not just ads, but off the show. Off the show. Were they lying to you, or are they just stupid? Intentionally lying? Wasn't it careless to not just wait until SmackDown happens? They raced to write and say this for hits. They didn't write it and say it so they could go look at themselves, what they wrote or said. They raced to write and say this for hits. Sexual abuse cares about them so much that they use this for hits. Wasn't even true. That's why I wrote early in the day, some people got some splaining to do. So we have Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. Match went 13 minutes. Enjoyed it tremendously. Matt Riddle winning a non-title. Once again, a lot of people were very upset by this. You know, there was a lot of wrestlers around the ring because of the ceremony with the belt. But this is the formula WWE's been doing for a very long time. Doesn't happen every time. But a newly crowned champion will lose a non-title to basically try to suspend disbelief that that champion can lose on any given day. But more times than not, when it comes to pay-per-view and others, they don't lose. So that's what it is. Next, we have a sit-down interview with Renee Young and Jeff Hardy. Once again, I'm one of the few people that was fine with this storyline from day one. You know, it gives a little bit of pressure on Jeff Hardy to remain clean. He speaks out on it. He may inspire some people out there who are battling addiction. So I know a lot of people don't like real life, you know, addictions being put in storyline. And I don't blame people out there for feeling that way because of the history of how it's been portrayed and used. And there's been a lot of examples of it just being absolutely terrible. In this case, it's not as terrible as others in the past. And when Jeff Hardy says that the struggle is real, that is legit. That is absolutely legit. So I see a lot of reaction to some of the stuff that I said before. Cassette Classics were God bless DT. I was able to work. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, no, working, absolutely. That's why you have no idea, man. I'm sorry for everybody out there that will miss it next week, but there will be no Don Tony show next week. I will be out of New York State next week. Like I said, Monday night, I've been invited to a dinner. First time I'm really getting the opportunity to go to a restaurant, not have to worry about the cops showing up and saying, you guys all need to leave because, you know, we're inside the restaurant where you're not supposed to because it was only phase one. But so Monday I'm probably going to bypass Raw and not do a show and go out with friends and have dinner. You know, Wednesday I will do Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite, but then Thursday morning I am out of New York for 5 days. So, but Daniel says if Jeff ever gets the urge to be an addict again, he needs to go back and watch the clip of him and Matt wasted. I got news for you, Daniel. I think Jeff Hardy has watched that clip over and over and over. I'm not ever going to try to compare myself to Jeff Hardy's addictions. Painkillers, yeah, but I got pain. I don't take it to get high. Not interested in that. I take it for pain. But I will tell you that when I get the urge to eat some things, and because I know me, if I cheat one day, it'll turn into 5 days, you know. And when I go and I look back at my pictures of me 110 pounds heavier, you know, it's a wake-up call, not just the physical part of it, but, you know, the health part of it as well. You know, there were times, you know, I had the cancer scare a year and a half ago, but, you know, I had so many health things out of whack that I needed to change. So it's kind of a reminder of remembering then, not just the physical part of it. My God, the other day, I swear to God, I should have done this. And you know what? I'm sure I have some others that are just stored away. But the other day I was looking to find some, you know, summer stuff, you know, for the summer. And I found 2 pairs of jeans that I had size 44. And I just threw them out immediately. I didn't even wait to donate it to charity. I threw them out. And I should have put them on because now I'm size 36. And I should have put it on just to see how much difference it's been. But, so I think Jeff Hardy looks at a lot. I think he looks at his match in what was it, against Sting that time? Those things are way, you know, you don't ever want to go there. when you can confront your demons and look at your demons in the eye, and you could literally want to spit in their face, that's a good thing. So, Vacant, I talked about Justin Roberts earlier. Talked about this quite a bit earlier. Talked about it for over an hour, to be honest with you. So, go check it out later. Absolutely, man. Like I said, on Wednesday, the only thing that I will bring up Wednesday are those who are no longer employed. If there's anybody who are facing legitimate legal or criminal ramifications, I will bring it up too. But I'm not going to say this person's investigated, this person investigated, because you remember how that went earlier. And by the way, with the Velveteen Dream thing, because that's trying to resurface. Let me just nip this in the bud now. The person who is trying to claim this now, take note that he actually writes in his statement, he posts the nude picture of Velveteen Dream, which he never, at least he admits Velveteen Dream never gave him. But when he posts the picture, he says this is what his friend received a month ago. They're all friends. They're all friends. They all know each other. There's a lot of clout chasers out there. They don't understand, some of them, that they dodged a serious legal bullet. They think hiding behind a fake name or a fake profile or, you know, an IP, you know, blocker and stuff like that, that they could just, you know, you got to be so careful before you start throwing accusations at people. Seriously. It's careless. But some people just, the hits, the likes, the conversations, you know, the views, that overtakes everything. When you could care inside and you don't have to tell others that you care, that's when you truly care. When you can care by sending a private message to someone and not having to tweet and 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 tweet about it, when, just like Mick Foley, God bless that man, you have no idea the hundreds, if not thousands of times he's done things good for people. Charity. That he said, I want no cameras around. I don't want anybody knowing about this. When you can support and do things without having the world know about it, that's when you know you're doing it for the right reasons. When everybody needs to know, that's when you're doing it more for yourself than for those people. So, you really support those people? Contact them. Anyway. So Renee Young has that sit down with Jeff Hardy, which I thought was excellent. Thought that was excellent. I don't know how much longer the Sheamus storyline will continue with Jeff Hardy, but it, you know, not bad so far. Shorty G, that was interesting. Shorty G, you know, warming up in the back. He has the back and forth with Mojo Rawley, and he decks Mojo Rawley, and you pretty much have an idea of where this is going to go. And Shorty G gets the win on Mojo Rawley in less than 3 minutes. Gronk is gone. And Mojo Rawley, I don't know what they're going to do with him. They've done mirrors. They've done this. They've done that. I don't know if they know what to do with them. And speaking of not knowing what to do with someone, Miz and Morrison come out. And they bring up, you know, a situation with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. They bring out Mandy Rose, and we see Sonya Deville come out. Sonya Deville, once again, nailing it on the mic. Passionate energy, you know, just beautiful. But I don't know if people realize how many times Sonya Deville has already said to Mandy Rose, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. WWE will not let the Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville storyline go away because they don't have a fucking clue on how to use Sonya Deville and her passionate mic abilities with someone else. Notice the lack of talk when she battled Lacey Evans a few times. Little smack, but nothing like this. You take away Mandy Rose, you take away her mic piece. WWE has not found out a way to use Sonya Deville's talent, especially on the mic, with someone else. That's why you keep getting this. Plain and simple. It just feels like a storyline that's like it's like a wheel stuck in quicksand. 2 pay-per-views have gone by already that they should have had a match and didn't on pay-per-view. So, we have a championship Monday going down. Asuka versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Iconics. Akira Tozawa versus R-Truth for the 24/7 title. Rey Mysterio will be there. Ric Flair will crown Randy Orton as the greatest wrestler ever. I'll be honest with you. Charlotte versus Asuka, although I think that'll probably be the match of the night, after reading that, more of a reason why I got to go out to a restaurant with my friends, man. That's just the prelude of going on vacation. So I think I could bypass this week's Raw. So I don't think it's too much, Charlotte. Who else are you going to use? Who else are you going to use? We'll talk about that on Wednesday. But anyway, because we're going to wrap this up in 3 minutes. Big E and Kofi, you know, they beat Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik in a non-title match. Then Shinsuke and Cesaro come out. They attack the New Day. And, you know, again, this is going to set up the take. Look, remember, Shinsuke and Cesaro, you know, New Day losing non-title matches. People are shocked about AJ Styles, but this is the formula across the board. Nikki Cross versus Sasha Banks. You know, basically, we had... It was interesting because we had Sasha and Bayley on commentary while the New Day were wrestling. And you could see Michael Cole where they're shifting the storyline where Michael Cole says to Sasha, you've won all the titles, but you haven't won the title that Bayley has. That's, again, another seed planted. Remember, Bayley, Sasha Banks taking the scenic route. WWE's taking the extra scenic route. So... later on, you have all, you know, the women yelling and arguing. Nikki Cross jumps, you know, both of them. Alexa Bliss runs out, and Bayley accepts a match for Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks does beat Nikki Cross, however. So I think some people expected maybe Nikki Cross to lose and have Sasha be angry at Bayley, blah, 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 blah. But soon enough, you can see where it's going. They will be at the ringside table. Somebody will say to Bayley about her beating everyone, or Bayley will go on the mic and say, I've beaten everyone, and she'll run down the list again, and then you will hear Sasha out of nowhere go, you haven't beaten me? Except me? That's how it's going to end up. Bayley will brag one too many times on how she's beaten everyone, and Sasha will just come out of nowhere, and people will be like, what's that GIF or GIF picture online when you see the guy going, and then you have the one that has like 5 guys, and the guy's like, that's what you're going to see when Sasha makes that comment. So, let's see, a 15-year-old. Who talking to the 15-year-old? Oh, wait, Velveteen Dream, come. Give me a fucking break, man. Seriously. Oh, God. Like I said, some people out there want this to be true, man. Want it to be true. Want it to be true. Amazing. Look, I'll see what comes out. But I will tell you that all of these legal stuff that these people claim they filed against Velveteen Dream was not true. And you're going to see wrestlers now get lawyers and go after a lot of the people making the accusations. So if your best offense is saying you have a text message and you say to a wrestler, first of all, it's inappropriate for a teenager to say to a wrestler, hey, when I come to Florida, let's go to the movies, let's go bowling. You know, that's entrapment. And if the person says, yeah, let's go to movies, let's go bowling, and this and that, you know, that's not sexual abuse. Is it a little creepy? Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't even know if that's fucking true. But what are you going to do? Go to a cop, say, I asked him to go to the movies, and he said yes. Fuck out of here. You're really lowering the bar, man. Yeah, Austin, I said it earlier. Exposed wrestling is shut down. Some people were trying to cover up their ass, saying, well, maybe they shut it down because there's all these legal things going on, and they wanted to keep it offline so people don't... Are you fucking kidding me? Nobody even knew who the fuck started that page. It got catchy. It had a good name to it. Everybody ran to it. They flocked. They never in a million years expected all this attention. Then it got heated because some wrestlers being accused were fighting back. We're not getting involved with that. Shut it down. Shut it down. It'll come back in a different form. And then some people will make excuses. This is bullshit 101, man. Watch. Watch. So, Sasha beats Nikki Cross. Props to Titus O'Neil. He's a finalist in the Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award. I will check out the other nominees, but props to Titus O'Neil. Getting a lot of recognition online and out in the real world. Just doing a lot of good, man. Awesome ambassador for WWE. Just a really, really good fucking guy. So, anyway, final segment of SmackDown. Firefly Funhouse starts off as the Funhouse. This storyline with Braun continues. And Bray Wyatt is going back to his roots. And it was funny because we seen a couple of quick clips of the Wyatt family from back in the day when Braun was a member of the Wyatt family. No Luke Harper, though. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see Luke Harper in these segments. I saw Eric Rowan with the mask on. Wouldn't surprise me if WWE offers Eric Rowan to come back for a one-time appearance or two, little payday. Won't affect your 90-day no-compete. Wouldn't say impossible. But, you know, Bray Wyatt is now doing his old shtick. He's got the lantern. He looks pretty fucking good. You know, a lot of retro, you know, doing his whole thing. And now it poses the question, is this the end of The Fiend? And my ignorant answer, my guess, my reaction to it is no. The Fiend is a major merchandise seller. The Fiend is a very creative character. The Firefly Funhouse is also I still got gift boxes everywhere in my office of Firefly Funhouse stuff. That is easy things to go back to over and over again. The Fiend has not been around for years and years and years, and please end it already. No, it's not the case. Maybe the monster, you're not as much of a monster if you're against a giant like Braun Strowman. That could be the reason why the Fiend is sort of not involved in a lot of these segments, because Braun is the bigger monster of the two. And if Braun overcomes this feud, you don't want to damage the Fiend any further, in my opinion. So I do have one of the Bray headlamps. I do have one of them in the office. I have to update the Patreon prizes, so that probably will be added as a giveaway with the puppets. I got the puppets in the other room, sealed in the bag. I got so much Bray Wyatt stuff. It's not even funny, man. But no, do not think that the Funhouse and the Fiend are done over with. You know, with the storyline with Braun, it might be the reason, the better way to go, to be honest with you. I do find it a little stupid, though, that they had a match and Braun came up wearing the mask. And Bray Wyatt in storyline thought that Braun finally saw the light, and then Braun squashed the mask. So what happened tonight, it almost felt like none of that happened with the mask. So I was just like, come on, man. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Yeah, okay, for you.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant.
I forgot, whenever we talk about Braun Strowman.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant.
Oh, boy. So, look, Bray Wyatt, God bless him and JoJo, second child, just born very recently. That's why Bray was off TV for a little while. Let's see where this goes. With that latest COVID strike, like I said on Wednesday, if there were thoughts or possibility of Roman Reigns coming back sooner, that might have been postponed for a little bit longer. Another thing, too, a few people were asking me if Ali goes to Raw and he's not revealed as the person with the truth will be told. I'm a little tired. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. I worked today. So I thought about this. It wouldn't make sense with the dots unless Ali doesn't come out to the dots anymore. But if Ali goes to Raw and they decide to have someone else do the truth storyline, I don't know if Sami Zayn would fit that. But I was thinking it might be an interesting way to go with this. But still, when you use someone's logo and it's not them, it makes no sense, in my opinion. So that was your episode of SmackDown tonight. Not a bad episode, to be honest with you. It flowed very well. And speaking of flowing, and we're going to pretty much, I think, end this now, the ratings, AEW and NXT. Man, first two times I predicted NXT was going to win the week. They did. This past Wednesday was my third prediction of NXT winning, so I am now 2 for 3. I thought NXT would get... I gotta look and see. I think I said NXT was going to get like 737 or something like that, 735, and they actually came very close to that. But I thought AEW was going to get like 670. They got 772,000 viewers. And what I loved about Wednesday's rating that nobody is talking about, everybody used to make fun of the ratings. We had 1.5 million fans watching wrestling on Wednesday night. That is not that far off from SmackDown. That is not that far off from Raw. So you could laugh at AEW's rating all you want. You could rip NXT's rating all you want. At the end of the day, 1.5 million fans watched wrestling on Wednesday nights. For the current situation, that's not fucking bad. So those are people out there just trying to get attention because there's a lot of other people out there that do the very same thing. So I said NXT 705. That sounds a little low. I got to go back and I got to go check it out. You could be right, man. I did say that NXT would win by 50,000 viewers. So that obviously I was off on that. But, I watched Dynamite again. Abaddon we talked about already. We talked about the whole show. But I watched Dynamite again yesterday. Because I wanted to, see, why did they get 772,000 viewers? And I was looking at different segments, and one thing that I think happened, once we see the quarter hours, then we'll know. What I think AEW did this week, better than previous weeks, is they did a good job maintaining their audience. And what I mean by that is they didn't blow their load tremendously at the beginning of the show. And then by the beginning of hour 2, you were fed with 20, 30 minutes of blah. If you see from beginning to end, and again, you look at the opening match, Dustin and Hudat versus Omega and Page, it's a nice opener, but it's not main event opener. So they did not blow their load too much too early. So it looked, as I watched it back, it felt that they kept the audience and they built it a little bit towards the end. So that was one good thing. I mean, sometimes AEW really starts off with a really unbelievable bang, and then it starts to decline as the show. It ends strong, but you get that lull in the middle. I did not feel much of a lull this time around. So props, man, and props to NXT as well. NXT did good. AEW did good, you know, and 1.5 million fans watch wrestling on Wednesday. I don't think that's anything to shit on, to be honest with you. So with that said, I went about 12 minutes over. I want to wish, yes, Guardian of Chaos, I was going to just say that. I want to wish all of the dads out there a very happy Father's Day. For everyone out there who has their dads still with them, or maybe their dads are in a better place looking down, I send you all my thoughts as well. I am privileged still to have my parents. I will be seeing my father Sunday. Going to have some nice barbecue, going in the pool, and just spending some quality time. And don't ever take your parents for granted. You know, if you get along with your parents, spend some time with them, give them a call. You know, just do what you can, because just like that, you could lose them. So I cherish all of the time. Every Tuesday now, it's like a ritual. I did it the last 3 weeks. I get tested for COVID on Monday morning. Then by Tuesday afternoon, the lab gives me my results. And then Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, around that time, I shoot out to Rockaway. And I stay by my parents overnight. And 2 weeks ago, we were able to go in the pool. It was nice out. But I spend every Tuesday with them. And this time, I'll spend Sunday with them as well. And like I said, Monday, I'll probably be taking Monday off. I'll be back Wednesday for Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite, and then I will be out of New York next week for 5 days. So I won't be back again with the Don Tony Show until July 3rd. So I'll be taking a week off. But I hope everybody could just stay safe, stay strong. So much bullshit going on in this world right now. It just, you know, you gotta just try to find some good and enjoy yourself. Do not sit on social media and just go along with a lot of its toxicity that's going on. Of course, you don't want to avoid these topics. There are very serious stories going out there, and there are some very familiar names who are legitimately victims of abuse. There's some who have been accused you know, unfortunately, and there's some who, you know, are innocent of it. Unfortunately, we're not the police, we're not the investigators, we're not witnesses. So since we're not any of those, we should not also be judge, jury, and executioners as well. Unless we know for a fact that there was concrete proof of something. Look, there's going to be some people who are abused that they'll never be able to show any proof. That doesn't mean that they're lying. It's not proof or I don't believe you. Can't do that. Can't do that. But, you know, you have to just be very, very careful how you tread with this, because you don't want to accuse people or crucify anybody that did not do what they're being labeled of. Some people will, you know, misinterpret someone being a creep as an abuser, which we talked about earlier. And also at the same time, you got to be very wary of those that will put stuff out there just to get sympathy, to get, you know, to get attention to themselves. It happens in all walks of life, and it's definitely happening right now. So, you know, if you didn't learn from Enzo's accusations and you didn't learn from the Velveteen Dream story, maybe you'll learn now. But unfortunately for a lot of people, it's the ongoing cycle. And ain't nothing that you or I can say or do about it. You could embarrass them. You can expose them. You can curse them out. You can confront them. And you could do that in droves. But it's just like a drug addict. You know, when someone is a drug addict and they're fiending for that drug, They will do almost anything to get it. So they could care less if they're being embarrassed, outed, exposed. You know, it's too powerful. And then when they get exposed, and then people try to turn it as the accusers being the bad guy, it's interesting. You know what's funny about this, and then I'll go. It's funny when some people out there out someone for being a fraud. And that person's closest family and friends will come to that person's rescue and do everything possible to demean the person who exposed them. But yet, in this case, it's crucify the accused and believe every accuser. That is dangerous. That is dangerous. That shows the dishonesty in a lot of people out there. That's why, personally, if you don't do any of that, you don't have anything to worry about. I choose not to expose people. I choose not to confront people. I choose not to embarrass people. I choose not to assume anyone's guilt or innocence unless there's some type of evidence or I do some investigating and research myself. That's why, honestly, without sounding like a conceited asshole, when was the last time for long-time viewers or listeners to my shows, when was the last time that I totally got something wrong, other than ratings predictions? Just totally, even when I defend people, when am I ever wrong? Even when I make people aware at some of the garbage that's going on in social media, notice that nobody calls me out on that because they know it's true. So, all right, everybody, I'm out of here. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy Raw, since I will likely not be on, unless dinner plans change. If obviously people could back out. So if dinner plans cancel or the weather is bad, then I will be up Monday night. Unfortunately, I don't have an Alexa over here to tell me what the weather is. Oh, you know what? Hey, Siri, what's the weather going to be Monday in Howard Beach?
Looks like it will be partly cloudy in New York Monday. The high will be 79 degrees.
The weather's going to be fucking great next week. So as of right now, it looks like that I will be out of New York. So next week, and we'll see. I'll let everybody know on Twitter Monday evening, what's going on. But take it right now that I will be out for the evening. So everyone be well. Much love as always. Stay strong. Be well. And more importantly, rise above a lot of the usual suspects online. Just stay away from that stuff. So, I'm always here for anybody who is a victim that definitely wants an ear to borrow or a shoulder to lean on. And, I've seen some people that I was personally friends with, not just what I talked about earlier, but a few other people, and to hear some of these things, it really sucks. It really sucks. So it's not good, but, maybe this scares some people in the future to be fucking very careful with some of your decision making, especially young and naive, people that you might be physically attracted to or you feel you have some power over. Maybe you'll think twice next time. So, all right, everybody, take care, be well. I'll catch you all again Wednesday for Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite. Ciao, everybody.
Don-O-Mite.
It was fun to channel surf. It was kind of hard to do a little pocket pool after you hitting the last channel button 50 times for 2 hours plus.
Don-O-Mite.
And his whole idea of overanalyzing, oh, he's an alcoholic and he misplaced the belt. And how could you have someone champion like that? The fuck out of here.
Wednesday night.
Don-O-Mite, you can have fun. You really are.